talk to you about this? Oh, the girl that did like the ablazing thesis.
Good morning, y'all. It's been a minute, and today I'm going to vlog me going to Cortland and doing a whole pre-med mixer, kind of like telling the students what it's like to be a med student and well, what it's like to work and try and get into med school and things like that. So it should be fun. So come along with me, guys. Let's talk to everyone and say hi and be friendly.
Dead taller than you.
No, do you measure?
Yeah.
Guys, please, this is...
What it says. Let me see on your license what it says.
I'm running back.
Guys, I'm sorry, I can't even speak because these are my classmates and this is going on YouTube, and instead of them to act like a happy family,
You lied to them, huh?
we have Angelique and Paul arguing at the back. We have Stevie here playing copyright music in my video.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
What's the goal left?
Okay, this is definitely not making it into this video. Do you hear that, China? Angelique said downstate is broke.
China, finish her.
I would go with purple, but this is close enough. Yay! Oh, she camera ready.
Angelique. I'm an incoming medical student this July, and I chose healthcare because I was exposed to it a lot when I was younger. Many of my family members were in and out of the hospital a lot, and my grandmother worked at a hospital, but I didn't really see anybody that looked like me when I was in this hospital setting. It wasn't until I was in my 20s where I actually saw like Black doctors, and I was like, oh wow, like I can actually get this done. I can actually do this. So that's why.
No big deal. I'm saying that for a month.
I see all that to say, like, you know, looking back at my experience, like, don't let anything kind of slow you down or make you feel like you can't do it just because you.
I needed that.
Yeah, no, trust me. Like, if you knew my GPA in college and where I am right now, like, I don't believe in myself too. But I'm being transparent. I say that all the time too because I feel like everyone's like, well, I failed Orgo or I dropped out of Orgo. Like, I took Orgo twice. Like, you know, like it's not. That doesn't define you and who you are as a person. Like a lot of times, like, and I'm starting to see a lot more times too now that a lot of students entering med school or even like other like healthcare professions as well too when it comes to school, it's a lot more of like non-traditional students. So you're not coming directly out of college and going right into med school. Like they want people who have had life experiences, you know, meaningful things that kind of separate them and make them unique as a applicant. So don't let that grade that you got in Orgo or advanced bio define you. Like you have plenty of time to make it up. Like you have your own timeline and your own way to get to where you want to be, and as long as you're like persistent about that and you stay true to like your reason of why you want to do it, like you'll be fine. There's no way that something's going to stop you from doing that. So
And so for me, going from high school to college, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a doctor, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I decided to go as undecided major. So I ended up going to Stony Brook. My first year, I was like, I'm gonna be the best pre-med student. Didn't go out, didn't do nothing, just studying. And then boom, I took my first cell bio class and got a C. And I got a C because I didn't read the syllabus, which was saying you have to do like a discussion board on Blackboard, which I didn't know about, and I didn't go to class the first day. So I was just doing my exams, and I didn't know I had like a whole section of homeworks that I wasn't even doing. So after that, I was like, okay, C gets degree. And I was like, okay, cool. It's like the GPA is like not bad, but like it's not great. And I remember I finally decided I wanted to do clinical lab science because I thought biology was the most boring thing in my life, honestly. And so in that program, I think I did well. I enjoyed it. But then I think I always didn't have anybody to look up to. And I think all of us will probably share the same experience. Like my mom didn't go to school. I didn't have nobody in my family who was a doctor. So it was more like try and error. So like I was just bouncing around doing research here, blah, 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 blah. And then I think I started, during COVID, I think I started doing really bad. I don't know. And I remember when I was applying to medical school, I went to my program director. I was like, hey, can you write me a recommendation? She was like, GPA. I don't know. I don't think medicine is for, maybe you can do a master's or something like that. So I had it in mind. I was like, damn, this lady just told me I couldn't be a doctor. So after I graduated, I took my MCAT. First time I registered for it, I forgot the date. I didn't even show up. Because I thought it was a Saturday, but it was a Friday. So I overslept. I woke up and someone was like, hey, how was the test? I was like, what test? It's tomorrow. She was like, this guy's not serious. I was like, wow. So I had to retake it again. Luckily, I had to just take it once. And then I applied to medical school. But then, since my program director told me the GPA wasn't, I didn't have a bad GPA, but then I don't think it was gonna get me to Harvard or something like that. So I was like, maybe let me do something about this GPA, because if she thinks it's bad, maybe it wouldn't get me into medical school. And in retrospect, thinking about it, I don't think my GPA was bad, but I also don't regret applying to this program because I think this is where I found how to study properly. Met some cool people along the line, and
Just pointed to one person.
some cool people along the line who like really like inspire you. Like I keep telling people, like these are some of the most smartest people I've been around, even though some of these people I think they're not smart. Like I would say Angelique is smart, like she's very efficient. This guy here is something else. But he gets his work done. And I think being around all of these people have really inspired me. And I think if I'm to tell you anything out of this whole story that I told you, you'll meet people who will doubt you. You'll meet people, you yourself will doubt your own self. At a certain point, you look at your transcript and you're like, how did I get this C? How did I get this?
Yeah, indeed.
But mind you, listen, I have a D. I took Music 101. I thought I was going to learn how to play piano. Listen, I thought I was going to learn how to play piano. And the professor was like this grad student from Asia and didn't speak any English. And also I was like, what is this class? I thought I was going to learn how to play piano. And so, listen, I have a D. I'm not like shy to talk about it. But it is more you knowing what you want to pursue and then going for it. The grades will take you as far as it can take you, but when people know you're very passionate about something, they'll give you all the opportunities. So I think you just have to have the passion for it, and also do more outside of class. Do a lot outside, because everyone here will tell you what they did outside of class. That's what is gonna get you into medical school mostly, because everybody's gonna come with a GPA. What makes you stand out? So try to get involved in your community, non-profits, community service, research, volunteering, because that is what is going to make the difference when you apply to medical school. Thank you.
No, yeah, just to add to that, I do agree that there's gonna be so many people that are gonna tell you that you can't make it. I went to SUNY Portland. I grew up in Harlem. My parents are Dominican immigrants. Grew up in the projects, came from nothing. My parents never finished high school, anything like that. They never put the pressure on me to go to school, but I randomly ended up going to, this was my zone high school. For people that went to school in the city, you go to zone or you could pick. And it so happened that my zone high school was a STEM school. It was Manhattan Center for Science and Mathematics. So a lot of the people that I graduated with went to Ivy League schools. I definitely was not in the top tier of education. I didn't even think I was gonna go to college. And I did this program the summer before with KIP, and they just took us around and introduced us to EOP, introduced us to the opportunities outside of the city. And I was interested in physical therapy, but I didn't really know why. I had some prior experience with it because I had an ankle reconstruction when I was younger, so I had to do a lot of physical therapy, and I thought it was really cool. But to be honest, I saw this movie, Queen Latifah in Common, and she was the physical therapist, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I really didn't have that much thought into it, and I was just thinking about it. And then I went to Portland, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Like, my grades weren't always the best. I feel like I didn't learn that I wanted to do it until I was maybe in my junior year, because I was in the track, but I was like doing it and not doing it. Like, I didn't know how to feel about it. And then COVID happened. So I was super like, okay, do I even want to be in healthcare after this? Like, do I actually want to do this? Or am I just putting myself in this position to put it? And so that summer I did observation hours in the PT clinic. And I was just so moved and motivated by like the effect that it had on people, and like how passionate like patients came and said, you changed my life. I was just an aide, like I didn't do anything, you know, like I was just doing my job, helping people, and they resonated with me. And even seeing like Black women or Black men come and look at me. I'm not a physical therapist, I was their aide, and their physical therapist was white. They would look at me for all answers. They would come to me for all questions and things like that. And I just felt like I had arrived at like what I wanted to do, and I found my purpose in that. And so that's when I really began to be like really motivated. I studied hard for a GRE. I struggled a lot because higher education is a lot to even apply to. I think I spent around $1,500 in applications, and I was dead broke. I was a college student in the summer. I didn't have a full-time job. I was still I was going into my senior year of college. And I remember someone told me that I didn't know anybody who took the GRE before, so I'm looking online, and I heard through the grapevine that when you take the GRE, that you can send it for free, the test scores, like that same day. I took it, and I put the schools that I was gonna put in, but I couldn't remember all the codes. So they said, okay, when you get home, you can do it. When I got home, I couldn't do it. And I had only budgeted maybe for that, the test. I had to spend $100 to send, and $100 is not a lot. But I was dead broke, so I didn't have the $100. And I remember I came home and I was crying. I was having like a whole meltdown. My parents are like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I work so hard and I can't even apply to these schools. Thankfully, like they helped me out with that situation, but it was definitely like so real to realize that like they don't want us in these spaces. But just because they don't want you in these spaces, like it doesn't mean that you don't have the right to take up space in these spaces. And I feel like even growing up, even in high school, like there were teachers who told my mom that I would not be successful in college. There were so many people that told me, oh, you want to be a physical therapist? Cool. Like, you know, like waiting for you to fail. And that needs to be all the fuel that you have in your back to be like, no, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it well. And you're going to look at me and say, wow, she actually did it. Because it doesn't really matter. Like you said, your grades don't matter. It doesn't matter about anything. The only thing that really matters is your passion and your drive behind what you do. Because if you're really passionate and you know, I want to be a physician assistant, I know I want to be a doctor, you're gonna make it because everything is within your power, right? I know it always seems like it's not within our power, that other people have control over our lives, but you can choose today to be like, no, this is what I'm gonna do, and I don't care if I fail 10 times. That 11th time, I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna do it. That was just like my whole spiel of like PT school and that whole process.
All right, I'll talk about this one. I mean, school is great and all, but I feel like for myself, I need to also explore like other things that I'm passionate about. So like, what am I passionate about? Like content creating, vlogs and stuff like that, just to kind of like document my whole journey for other people. I'm also passionate about like mentorship too, like getting other URMs involved in healthcare or medicine and things like that. On campus, I am a president of Melanin in Medicine, that organization, and also on the e-board of SNMA. So a couple of things. So you want to do these things also to have it on your resume that you have a life other than studying, but you also want to do these because you need an outlet. You want to definitely like, you know, hone in on your hobbies or other things that just bring you joy as opposed to just studying every single time. How do you balance that? I think it is important though to find a way to balance that. You don't just want to just have fun. Those grades are still important. You are paying a lot of tuition for this and it's an end goal. You do want to be great at the skill or the craft of being whatever kind of physician a healthcare provider you are. So it's also important to focus on that. But I think having an outlet, having friends, having other things to do, kind of like gives you like a balance. And so you just have to make time for things that you need in your life. And if you can devote like, 2 hours I'll study, 1 hour I'll do this thing fun, 30 minutes I'll do this. So it goes back to like good time management, I guess.
If you're still in your pre-med journey, have a journal, whether it's on your laptop or whether it's like written down, like, because they're gonna ask you about your experiences, and if you don't, jot them down, you're trying, like, what's a memorable moment? Like, you can actually like write down these memorable moments, like, let's say shadowing a surgeon, you can write about everything, just so like when you're doing the application process, like you have all this like history of like what you went through. It's like, oh yes, that was great. I can easily talk about that, as opposed to just like on the fly trying to remember what you did and how you felt and stuff like that, and why did it motivate you even further. So definitely like having a journal, whether it's on your laptop or just written down.
Also don't know the experiences that will open a door. So I started Curly Kiki Court. I didn't start from Curly Kiki Corley here, but I was a part of the beginning of it, of that club. And my professor, I went to the upstate interview, and I'm talking to her, she's asking me, what am I doing outside of PT school? And I tell her, I'm like starting up this Curl Fest thing, which is like you guys are gonna have tomorrow. I was telling her about that, and she was so interested in like curly hair and like why I was so passionate about it. And I told her my background, and she didn't ask me one question about PT school. She just kept asking me about CKC, and I was like, why would CKC be helpful for me getting into med school or DPT or anything like that? But it showed that I have passions outside of just being a student, and I'm a person outside of being a student. So you never know. So that journal, I never even thought about it, but that'd be great, because you don't know not everything has to be geared towards medicine to be important.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anybody that went to PT school, and everybody that I knew in exercise science that was applying, none of them were getting in. So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like, and so there was this one guy who graduated 2 years before me. His name's Esteban. He's we ran in similar circles, but he went to upstate, and I actually met him because he was in MAPS and he was hosting like how he got in. I talked to him maybe once or twice. We were never really close. And my friend was like, just hit him up. Like, he got in. How the hell did he get in, right? And I'm like, damn, like, I don't want to look thirsty. I don't want to look like, I'm just hitting him up for an opportunity. Because, that's a weird position to be in, to hit somebody up that you don't know. Like, but it's an acquaintance and you're asking them for a favor. But if you don't ask, you will never know. Because the reason I applied to upstate was because of him. I had no intentions of applying to upstate. He was like, have you thought about upstate? We have a really good program. Sent me details, showed me like what he wrote to get in, showed me like the questions they asked. So honestly, it doesn't even have to be someone that you're super close with, but that, like, for example, you guys went to school with, that you don't know too well. Like, most people that look like us want more of us in the field, right? So we're not gonna sit here and be like, you look thirsty, we're not gonna help you. Like, no. Yeah. Come and ask us questions, because that's why we're here. We took time out of our day to be here to empower you guys to apply, because we didn't have those people for us. So don't feel free to like reach out whenever you need it.
It's really who you know, I guess. And also being a good person too. Yeah. It's not who you know and then you go in there and you're horrible. You have to show up for yourself too. It's who you know and they put you in that space, and then I see like, wow, this is actually a great candidate and I love their story. And then I'm more inclined to be like, yes, of course I want them to be my classmate, to be in my school.
Being a team player.
Yes.
The whole competitive, like toxic pre-med.
Throw it in the trash.
It's ridiculous. Like you're not gonna go far. Like, it's collaboration, because somebody can help you out, you can help them out. There's no reason why there should be any competition. There's no reason why there should be like any arrogance. When I tell you in undergrad, the level of toxicity was insane. Was ridiculous. This is like a breath of fresh air.
I think I agree with what Angelique is saying, because like I mentioned, I was interviewing last week, so I'm interviewing for like scholars who eventually become M1s, right? And now your interviewer is all subjective, but I think the folks that I felt like I scored really high are those that were I could just tell that they were genuine with their stories. They made it personal. Like, I don't want to hear the whole generic. I love science and that's why I want to be a doctor. that's great if that's why you want to be a doctor, but you have to like, I want to know like more, like keep it personal, give me examples, things like that I can actually connect and actually see like, okay, I see why this person really wants to do this. So I think it's being genuine, giving great examples, making it like personal, somewhat like let's feel some sort of like compassion in that story. And I think that goes a long way, because again, you're trying to engage with someone else, right? So you're trying to make them see you as an individual and kind of like see your story.
And also, I would say it's also who you know. So for me, I was very fortunate like to have built like relationship with like professors as undergrad, and so I did research like for free. I wasn't getting paid anything. After I graduated, my boss was like, do you want to stay? I'll pay you. I was like, fine, I'm gonna pay you. But like, I was like, didn't. I was like, I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. And then she was like, okay, fine. Like, you can add my name as a reference. And as soon as I applied for a job, I'm pretty sure all my references. This is how cool I am with my references. Like, I can call them right now and just say, hey, I'm just checking up on you. And by doing that, anytime I'm like in need for like a new opportunity, they don't mind like saying good stuff about me to other people. And sometimes I could just even ask them, do you know anyone in the city who's looking for like a research assistant? So like, oh, let me just look through my friends and ask them and see. And so sometimes if somebody recommends you for a job, you're more likely to hear from them than you just going to LinkedIn and then just applying. So one time if you are applying for a job in a place and you know somebody who also works there, just, hey, can you like talk to like some of the people over there I'm applying just in case, heads up, because that really makes a big difference.
Like for winter break, this is when I was starting to get serious about getting hours, and for PT school you need X amount of hours, and I had none. So I was applying because I needed a job, but the time frame was really, really short. It was like during a winter break. And I got the interview, and I told him I was transparent about the truth because, you know, PT world is really small. So if I set a bridge there, I have one person to say something negative about me when my name is brought up somewhere else. So I was transparent about it, but they were like, okay, so I can offer you that position. I was like, well, I'll clean for free. Like, can I just come and get some shadowing hours because I'm really passionate about this field? And like, even though it's something about PT or something that you may not be interested in, always go into an interview like researching that company. Like, oh, I looked up and I saw that you guys do this. This is really cool. Like, you kind of want to like, it sounds bad, but you kind of have to like do the butt kissing early on to be able to get into those positions. But in a way that's not like, yeah, in a way that you're like, okay, I'm researched and I'm educated. I know I want to do this, but I'm also not like, oh my God, I really, really, really need this. I just would really like this opportunity to just get the opportunity to see how PT works. Like, I don't know if I'm fully interested in it, but even if I can work here and not get paid, like that still be some benefit to me. Then they'll be like, okay, you know, like you wanna start off with the job, but if the job is not on the offer, that's where you switch it up and say, okay, I'll do it for free. Because then they know you're serious, you know, they know that you have some passion behind it. And I got that opportunity, and it's crazy how it ended up because one of the people that I shadowed ended up being my first clinical instructor. So it like came full circle in that way. So I would say just like always just show your passion, like I said before. Like even if you don't get paid for it, like just give that time to them because it will be worth it in the end.
Hey Kyla, so how did you think about today?
It was really informational. Like, you guys are really honest, really genuine, really like informational. So I really appreciate it.
Aww. And what are you looking to pursue now?
So I'm thinking of getting my MD or DO in doing emergency medicine.
Okay, girl, you got this.
So I'm getting that.
So taking the exam.
I'm giving out examples.
Oh, you were? You didn't? This was fun, y'all.
Dirty napkin.
I tried myself in the mirror and I just cried a little bit.
Is that
and
you?
I'm like,
We had a blast. Crazy time. Learned a lot.
No, I give myself the
That was surprising, I will say.
Yeah!
Paulito, we were so impressed by you.
I didn't know you could.
Come on. Paul did such a great.
Stop laughing.
Paul did such a great job.
Procedure.
Talked about this. Oh, the girl that did like the ablation thesis.
Why are you so obsessed with this song all of a sudden?
It's for the promotion. That's why.
Ice Spice is gonna be on the remix.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, it leaked.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, it was good. What are we gonna say? Let's just put our faces together and be like, bye.
We're not doing that. I'm gonna use you.
Wow, you finished in 28 minutes?